friends, and welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're back. If you are new, hi, my name is Rabbit and my pronouns are they, them, and either way, thank you so much for clicking on my video today. So today's video is gonna be kind of all scattered and all over the place, but I've been trying to film more of like my studio vlog sort of content. Basically, this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but this content, like the beginning of this video, will start I think like in February or something, because I've just been having a lot of trouble with the motivation and procrastination and all this kind of stuff, so you'll see a lot of that in this video. Sorry it's so late, sorry the shop stuff has been so wild, honestly just like, yeah. Things have been intense, but you know how it can be sometimes. I want to be very clear and upfront at the beginning. There's gonna be a lot of content warnings in this throughout it. There's been some sensitive topics going on in my life, and you'll be able to see in the description and stuff. I've just been emotional and dramatic, and there'll be timestamps and everything so you can skip around. But just like content warnings for like grief and like pet loss and just like tech frustration and like some heavy emotions, but it's not all that. There's also a lot of fun and happiness and good things, but it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster like when I was watching it back, so just know, you know, life can go up and down sometimes and everything's fine, but the roller coaster is real. So yeah, I also wanted to say, because I'm filming this intro after I watched through the content, and I realize that perhaps some of my like self-talk and ways of understanding work and like my relationship to it are perhaps not the healthiest thing in the world. Oops, my light died. It's nothing crazy dramatic or like mind-blowing or any wild revelations, and I promise it's like not super wild, but I just wanted to say I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end. But yeah, if you find yourself relating to it, yeah, I just was like, maybe I'm a little harder on myself than I originally thought, and maybe that's not as helpful as I originally perceived. Not that it's like super wild. I feel like I'm like making this intro like it's gonna be like the most weird, intense video, and then you'll watch and you'll be like, dude, like it's not that. So yeah, you get what I mean. Regardless, this is just me doing my little small visitors vlogs. Sorry that things have been so scattered and wild lately. I've just been dealing with stuff, as you'll see, but there's also been progress and I've been very excited and I can't wait to show you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. So today is February 22nd and I have been dealing with a lot of like burnout, motivation issues, general issues overall for like the past couple months, and in an effort to try to get myself over them or try to motivate myself through this a little bit, I figured I'd try to vlog through things. I definitely was supposed to film a video today about my miniatures and the ones that I made, but I have been trying to do it like all week, and it's just, I keep just managing to put it off and find other things to do and like just avoid it in every possible way. So I've decided to just allow myself not to do that, but to work on something productive, which is making some miniatures for my shop. I have a bunch of ideas of different like little scenes I want to make, like a vampire tea service and like a little fairy tea corner and like a haunted parlor room and all these kind of different things. So we'll see what gets made. I'm gonna just work on some furniture today and try to like just tell myself that any progress is progress, even if I'm not doing it right now in like the things that I'm supposed to be doing that I feel like I should be. It's just been like months and months of me like kicking myself and being like, you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, you're messing up, I need to just allow myself to be creative with less of the pressure. So I'm gonna try to do that, and hopefully things work out. Hopefully I have something cool to show you guys eventually when that's all done. So talk soon. Okay, so I've been working on more little mini things today, so things are going well. I'm feeling like a little bit discouraged at how long things are taking me to do, but I hopefully will speed things up shortly. And yeah, not everything's done here, obviously, like even this isn't fully complete, but you know, we're making progress. All right, so another day trying to work on my little miniature things. I'm honestly having like such trouble completing them, so I've made myself a little checklist so I can like just start and finish, complete, move on to the next thing, because right now I feel like I'm just waffling around staring at my projects instead of like actually completing them. So let's go ahead and see what we can get done today. So furniture is looking good. Got a bunch of these like stone kind of things that are very exciting, including this little bird bath that I tried to make. I'm gonna go ahead and try to make some more furniture things today. I got like some sheets and stuff to finish for the bed and like pillows and blankets and all that kind of thing. Gotta like cut out some mirrors for the little vanity shelf thingy, paint some more little tables and stuff, but I think we're doing okay. So happy times. Hello, so I got some furniture finished, ready to do some painting today. I'm feeling pretty not good. I got some really bad news about my childhood cat that we were looking after pretty recently, and he went back to my mom. She took him to the vet, and the vet recommended that he's close to the end of his life and to put him down, which is... I'm really not doing well, and I don't really know how to cope with it. So I'm trying to distract myself as best as possible just by like crafting and these kind of things, but it's been a very hard day. It's only like 2 p.m. and Cage is gonna come home soon. Hopefully I can talk to him and get some stuff off my chest and deal with things, but I'm just feeling really down right now and just trying to do my best to distract myself and do what I need to do and keep the productivity up, because that's like what I need to be doing right now and that's what'll make me feel better. But I'm not doing well today. Talk soon. Alright, so past couple days I've mostly been working on like little stuff for the rooms. So I've got like little teapots and little plushies and little perfume bottles and stuff I have to paint. Then I'm gonna gild some pages on these books, put the books together, just kind of putting together some stuff, and it's going well. So hopefully I'll be able to show you guys some good progress soon. Okay, so I've made a bunch of tiny little leather-bound books for the little library. I'm gonna also paint these guys later, and they'll be like kind of fun, interesting, also leather-bound, but more in like decorated, kind of stamped leather kind of way situation. And then all of them have gilded pages, which is really fun. So like the interior is gold, but I just need to write some titles on the fronts, and then little leather-bound books for the library are done. I experimented with a bunch of different paint colors and I think it looks so nice. I get like all these variations in like greens and reds and purples and stuff. So yeah, super happy. Alrighty, got all my little titles on there. Tried to do like some classic literature stuff, so we got like some Camillus and Dracula, some Frankenstein, but also just like some potions, elixirs, spells, that kind of thing. And I think these all look really good. I think they'll look really good on the shelf, and I like that they just are extra detailed, so if you do choose to pick any of them off the shelves, they have a little title. So yeah, I love making things extra interactive and fun, and I think this is very fun. Okay, I'm sorry, but look how pretty this is in its little case with all the beautiful color. Like, sorry, not to toot my own horn, but I think this is so gorgeous. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Hello, friends. It is March 5th, and I've been putting off doing my freaking taxes for like a month. So today's the day I'm just gonna sit down and get her done. Otherwise, miniatures have been going really slow, but okay. I got a bunch of these little candles done yesterday, made of like wire and glue and stuff, and I think they look really nice. I still just like need to add the little flames, but they look pretty good. And I have lots of little miniature things that I've made, but I still need to paint, including like lots of little books and things, but I think they'll look really good when they're all set and sorted. So I'm excited to show you guys the updates, but for now, freaking need to do my taxes. They're due in 5 days, and to motivate myself, I have said that me and Cage are gonna go to the donut shop when I'm done, and that's gonna be my reward and my like motivation to get them done. So wish me luck. I'm gonna go hopefully get that done as fast as possible. Bye for now. Okay, so today I got done a bunch of these little foods and stuff. I've got a bunch of grapes to be, a bunch of cherries to be, some pieces of honeycomb, pomegranates, on this side like a bunch of different truffles and cookies and that kind of thing. So last time I baked a bunch of clay stuff, I burnt it all and it was like a huge waste of time and super sad. So wish me luck that this doesn't happen again. Yeah, I think this will look really good. Oh yeah, I also made some little apples. Yeah. Alright, so the baking was successful. Now it's time to like put everything together, gloss things. loads of truffles and little treats and sugars and chocolates and buns and apples and honey. Yeah, it'll be fun. Okay, so I might have gone a little overboard with the food making, but I really, really like how everything looks. It's all really, really cute in my opinion. It's all made of polymer clay, and like some of the stuff, I guess this and this are made of like real flower petals or like, you know, aluminum foil or whatever. But for the most part, all just polymer clay. Got my cherries and pomegranates. I'm really excited to put together my little chocolate boxes, so that'll be fun. And then I didn't use translucent clay on the grapes the first time I made them, so I remade them as well as the honey. So yes, nearly done the food, and might have gone a little overkill, but it was a lot of fun. And I think everything looks so cute. All right, so last night I worked on some little platters. I'm gonna finish them up today. Then I have loads of food to plate onto the platters. And then I'm kind of planning to maybe look into these things and paint them and finish them up, because a lot of them are like, you know, this is like put together, but it needs to be painted type things. So like some of the stuff in here is done, but some of it still needs to be completed. So things are looking good. Lots to complete, and hopefully this project of 8 little miniatures will get completed faster than I intended, because my god, this has been taking way longer than I hoped. All right, talk soon. Okay, I'm kind of losing my mind, because among the reasons that I haven't been uploading and doing all these kind of things is because my hard drives are all full and formatting them is like a huge pain. And for my birthday, Cage got me this really nice big hard drive that's like 4 gigs, but formatting it and trying to get my old files onto it has been this absolute nightmare. I feel like I'm on hour 3 right now of trying to just get my old files from one hard drive onto another, and I can't figure it out, and it's making me feel like stupid and like I don't know what I'm doing, and like how can everyone else figure this out, and it just like won't work for me. Like it's driving me up the freaking wall. I have no idea what to do. I like feel like at the end of my rope, and I just feel like no matter what I Google, like I just keep going through the same things and just failing over and over and over, and I hate technology, and it just is like another thing that makes me be like I never want to film again, because like so I am super mad. My camera's running out of space and battery and everything, and I can't do anything, so anyway, I really want to figure this out, but I don't know how much more I can take. It's about an hour and a half later, and I still haven't figured it out. I've restarted my computer like a million times, unplugged everything a million times, everything's just stuck on like the loading wheel constantly. I have no clue what I'm doing. I literally just want to like throw everything across the room and never touch technology again, because this makes me literally just get driven up the wall. And I've been needing to just format this stupid hard drive since like February, like since I got it, and I just haven't been able to do it. And I thought like, oh, maybe I'm making a big deal of it, maybe I'm being dramatic, and it's like not as hard as I'm making it out to be in my head. But like I don't like, this feels like it'll never end, and I feel like I'll never figure it out, and like no matter how many things I have to delete from my laptop, like it still doesn't clear up any space somehow. And yeah, it's probably not fun to listen to someone complain, but all I want to do is just like tear my friggin' hair out right now. So not having a fun time. I'm like this close to crying, so I'm gonna turn the camera off before that happens. Okay, I think I'm finally figuring it out. It says it'll take 3 hours, which is like actually the amount of time it should take, and I have named my new hard drive Vincent, after Vincent Price, because I've been watching a lot of Vincent Price horror movies lately, and it should be transferring, and hopefully everything will be solved. And this is taking, like, this is day 2 now of working on this stupid thing, and I wish tech didn't make me so mad, but it really does. All I can hope for is that this is the way it will work, and I will be able to freaking finally start uploading again. So I guess while I wait for this to work, I'm gonna watch some movies and paint some miniatures. So hopefully it works, but I'll only know in 3 hours. I should probably just like transfer like 1 or 2 files to see if those work before I, but fingies crossed, we'll see. All right, talk soon. Tuna's a techie, and she always likes to supervise that my computer is doing what it does. So thank you for always looking out for me. And then in terms of miniatures progress, I have set up kind of like little stations for each set. I still need to make their bases, but this is like my little parlor, kind of. Little tea service, vanity, bedroom, altar, fairy tea, library, and apothecary so far. Plus I have all my little things that I have created and painted. I still need to like fill in some cups with liquids and like add in some extra tiny details with like gems or painted details or stuff like that. But for the most part, we're all set here. I've got some serving platters that I made, my food that I still need to plate. But I feel like we're kind of finally closing in on this project, and it took so much longer than anticipated and expected and all that stuff. But I'm pretty happy so far with how things are looking, and I really hope that you guys like them too. Okay guys, guess what? It's 11 p.m. the next day, but me and Vincent have figured it out. All of my stuff is on here, and the hard drive works. He's great. He's full of his new memories, and I can finally work in confidence and peace again. So I am just so thankful. I can't believe it took me that long, and I'm quite annoyed about it. But yay! Very good stuff. Okay. Phew! That was the devil himself. I feel really bad that I didn't record more of my like DIYing process for a lot of this furniture, but because of the burnout I was like, I'm just gonna let myself craft without filming, but now I kinda regret it. Anyway, you can see me here just painting all the little furniture bits I made. They're mostly made of just like pieces of cardboard, little bits of lace, beads, random little trinkets that I find around and cut up and glue together. Then I paint everything one solid shade and then try to go over it with another one to kind of add that little bit of contrast, usually with like a little bit of a metallic thing. So I have like kind of a faux stone, faux wood, and etc, etc. Then I'm taking a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm just doing this for the stone kind of furniture, but I want it to look like it had overgrown moss all over it. So I'm just dripping little bits of glue around, and then I have basically the loose bits of moss when you keep moss in a bag and it just kind of naturally sheds. These are all the little sheddy bits, and I put them in a bowl. I'm trying to just kind of coat it the way you would with glitter, and I feel like it looks really nice. Then I have all these little cups that I made for the various rooms, and I wanted to add like liquid to them, so I'm taking a little bit of hot glue to sort of fill in that liquid bit, trimming any excess off, and then once they're dried and all set, I can paint over them with acrylic paint and then gloss them, and I think they look really nice. Hey friends, today is March 18th, and I just want to like pop in because I figured that last time I was doing my daily vlogs and stuff, it was really helpful for me keeping on track and like keeping things rolling, it kind of felt like. So I decided I'm gonna try to do that for this week every day to keep updating. Sorry, I have like hairs in my eyes and it's like killing me. But I decided I'm gonna try to update you guys every day this week on like what's going on, what I've been up to, and that'll hopefully like help keep me a little bit accountable and stuff. So yesterday I filmed my like where I've been update, and I was like so nervous about it, but everyone was so ridiculously nice, and I feel honestly like overwhelmed with the kindness and sweetness of everyone, and like how everyone was just like, you need to rest, you need to chill, etc, etc. It was like, you guys are, I don't know, it was wild. It was like so supportive, and I wasn't expecting so much kindness and support and sweetness, but like, yeah, you guys blew my mind with that. So I need to reply to a lot of comments there still, but it just felt really good to get that off my chest and feel like other people understood and related and were like, unfortunately, you just have to take a break. And I'm like, what a sick, sad world that you can't just work 24/7 and not die. It sucks regardless. So I'm gonna do little updates. Today I decided, I've been putting this off for a while, but a while ago Cage and I got to look after my childhood cat for like about a month, and we had like a little photo shoot with him, and it was really, really special. But he's getting really old, like he's like 19 now, and I wanted to go through all his pictures and like make like a little special zine thing to kind of like memorialize him, because I know like with his age getting up there, it would be so hard if he passed away to like look through all the pictures and do this kind of thing. So like as morbid as it is, I just want to like take today to like look through his stuff and like do this, because he's still alive, he's still happy and healthy, and I just want to do that while I still have that like in my mind about him and stuff. Some things that I made while he was still here is a little friendship bracelet, one for me that says Braveheart and one for him that says Mr. B. He doesn't really wear it, it's just kind of like cat sized. I also have a little jar of his fur that I collected. I did some paw print stamps, so I'm gonna try to paint these maybe today. They're just like salt dough kind of things. I have a little heart his a toy that he played with while he was here, and then I have a bunch of Polaroids throughout time of us and stuff, so I'm gonna like try to put together this little situation, and I figured maybe today would be a good time to do it because I've just been, yeah, putting it off because I'm like, I need to work, I need to do things and be productive and like whatever, but posting that video yesterday and like reading all the comments was like a reminder that I do need to take time to do things for myself, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, so I'm gonna do that today, is go through all his pictures and start maybe putting together like a little zine thing. I was thinking in Canva. Normally I do like physical zines, but for this I thought it would be fun to try a new format, and I think it'll just be a good way to like get the creative juices flowing without like putting the pressure that I've been like drilling on myself lately of being like, you need to finish your miniatures right this second, and it's bad that you're not doing them more and better and like whatever. So I need to lay off that pressure for at least today. Otherwise today I took Lemon to the vet this morning with Cage for her Silencia injection. Then Cage and I went on our daily walk and we got groceries together, and it's been like kind of on off snowing and being sunny, so hopefully the snow is ending soon and we can just be over everything. But I have a lot of my miniatures, little things that I'm really close to getting done. I finished adding all like the liquids to the cups yesterday, and when I finish sorting through all my Mr. B picks, I'm going to maybe like add some little painted details and gems and stuff to some of the miniatures that I've been meaning to. But yeah, just gonna try to like be easy on myself. If I manage to go through all the photos and whatever, I'll start working on like these little to-dos, finalizing items in this container. But otherwise yeah, I think it was really good for me to just be honest and like get my feelings out there and talk about it. And the support has been so overwhelmingly kind, and I just don't even know what to say. So yes, that's a little update of today and how I'm doing on March 18th. Talk to you guys soon. I really thought this would be easier because like he's still with us and stuff, but like, oh my god, putting together this little zine thing has just been a lot. I've managed to like go through all my pictures and like plan out the format and stuff, and I'm doing it in this kind of like storybook sort of style, but it's like so hard having an old pet and just loving them so much and just being like, oh my god, like I don't know how much time I have left with you, and it's extra hard when they don't even live with you, they live with your parents, you don't even get to see them that much, and ooh, it's an emotional time, but I'm feeling okay, and I'm happy with the progress I've gotten done, and I'm like tempted to take like a super late night shower or super late night bath if we're feeling super risky, but I don't know. Back to editing. Hey friends, so today is March 19th and I just wanted to pop in and give you guys a quick update on everything. So I am feeling really good today. Last night I stayed up till 4 in the morning, which is not great. However, for me it kind of felt like a little confirmation and feeling of like, you know when you get really into a specific project or idea or whatever and you just like want to consume it and do it and finish it and like whatever you don't care how late you stay up, you just want to like do it all night. I was having that feeling last night, which I know isn't like healthy to go that hard into a project, but being able to feel that again was just like so freaking satisfying. And the thing that I made was a zine of my childhood cat. Oh, I'm whispering because it's a surprise. I haven't shown Cage yet, but I'm really excited. I got it printed at Staples and it's just gonna be so adorable. It's like his life story, and I'm just about to get it all sorted and ready to like fold and bind and everything. It ended up printing with like a bit of a border, so I was thinking of trimming that and then binding it with a ribbon so that it takes up some of the space, like the big white space between the pages. I was silly and should have done the like kind of tea stain background on the whole page, but the process of making this, the hardest part for me was figuring out imposition, and that's basically when like page 1 has like the back page on one side and like this like the first page and the last, like, do you know what I mean? That when you make like a little zine booklet in this way, you have to make sure that the pages are in a specific order, and that for me, figuring it out is really difficult. So I was just like looking up free programs that would do it for me, and there are some, and it worked out great, but I was just like looking at it and I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. So I had to like make myself a mini version so I could like visualize it and make sure that it actually would. And yes, the program that I used worked fine. Staples printed it fine. Now I'm ready to put it all together. But yeah, when I had the file in like the imposition style, I should have changed and put like the tea stain background over the main so there wasn't like this big white gap, but whatever, you live and you learn, I suppose. Now it's time to just put the thing together, and I'm so freaking happy. Lately I've been exploring a lot of different media for me. So like one thing I've gotten really into is gialli, which is like a type of Italian cinema from the 70s that is like all murder mysteries, and all of the killers are like faceless, like masked people until they're like finally revealed at the end. They always wear like leather gloves, and there's like really wonderful, terrible dubbing, and like every time someone dies, it's always like a very gorgeous woman dying in like the most sexy way possible. It's always like, oh no, my boobs, like that kind of death scene. And it's just like so stylish and 70s and gorgeous, and I love watching them in Italian because it makes me feel like really connected to like family that I haven't seen in forever. And it was just like, yeah, that's been a really fun thing that I've been like spending my time watching in the background while I like work on this and other projects. And then the other thing that I got like kind of into just last night and like today, which I've never really been into, but is kind of like synthy 80s pop kind of hits. So I've always really liked 80s music, mostly like the goth stuff and also like the kind of folky stuff, like, you know, like Cat Stevens, and also just like regular rock stuff and Rolling Stones and like stuff that's like popular and like, you know, all sorts of 80s stuff. But lately I've just gotten super into the nostalgic, like really corny, what am I even thinking of, like Stacy Q's and like that kind of thing, and just like dancing around my room and like going through all the pictures, and it was just like feeling so good and feeling like myself again and just like so happy. And I just, yeah, things are feeling better. The sun is shining. I'm like ready to take a walk once I'm finished this, and everything is just like feeling like it's looking up and it's sunshiny, and I'm listening to all my like corny synthy music and made my beautiful thing. And like I feel a little bit guilty of the fact that like this is like a personal thing and not like a business thing, but with all the comments and stuff that I got on my video about burnout, people were saying like you need to do creative things that you just want to do for you, and like blah 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 blah. And this has been something that I've been meaning to do since like January or February, and I've been putting it off, and now it's done and it's so perfect and I love it and I'm so happy with the end result. So yeah, things are good. Today is good. Once I finish all this, I'll probably take a walk and then see what I can't get done on my miniatures, and see what else the day holds for me. But things are happy, things are good. I've been watching L'uccello con le piume di cristallo, the bird with the crystal plumage, I think is what it's called in English, and I found like a YouTube channel that just like uploads all of them in Italian with like lots of times weird dubs, but still Italian dubs, and it's just, I'm enjoying myself so much. So things are good, life is happy, time to bind my little zine. Alright, talk to you guys soon. Okay, look! I love it! I definitely did not bind it as nicely as one could possibly have done. And also, for some reason, one page didn't get printed double-sided, so I had to like glue it together, so one page is like weirdly thicker than the others. But I am so happy with this. I'm so excited to show it to Cage. I almost like want to put it in my bag and then just go on a walk with him, and then we can go like sit in the park and read it together. It's just, oh, I'm really pleased. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I remember when he had to go back to my parents' house, and I was like making his little like stamps of his paws and like taking all his pictures of him and getting like his fur in the bottle and stuff, and Kid was like, "You're acting like he's dying," and I'm like, "No, it's just that, you know, he's an old man, and I want to do this stuff before it's like super sad to do it, you know what I mean?" So yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I know it kind of looks like a memorial book, but it's just because I don't live with him. That's why. But yeah, okay, I'm really happy with the final result. Oh, I miss you, beautiful bee. I know my mom's taking great care of him and he's getting all the snugs, but yeah. All right, so here I am making kind of the bases, and I don't know why, but I decided to make them all kind of half moon shape. That was just the way my brain was going, and I thought it would look nice, and I'm really happy with it. I decided to use cardboard, a lot of like recycled cardboard like I've been using for this whole project. The thing I really like about it is that because it's like naturally corrugated, it tends to bend in really even ways. Like you don't have to do a lot of the scoring yourself because it's already like naturally scored. So that was really handy. I was able to just bend it, it stayed, add the hot glue for like the first layer of it sticking. Then I would add more liquid glue to make sure everything was good together. This was just kind of like base layer, making sure all my little furniture would fit. This is the little apothecary that I'm working on, for instance. But yeah, I'm just going ahead. I like to cut the windows, if I'm having any windows in them, before I roll up and glue everything together, just because it's easier to cut a flat surface than a round one. It always makes me happy to sing along and listen to whatever music is making me happy at the time, so I'm taking advantage of the sun and all the wonderful tunes and just feeling happy. This is the little kind of vampire tea setup that I'm working on. I think this one's gonna look so cute when it's all finished. I'm almost done right now as I record the voiceovers, and it's fun watching everything come together now, like being able to like look at them at my desk, being almost completely done. But yeah, just measuring, making sure everything will eventually fit. All right, so the bases are made for the miniature rooms. Now I need to start like making the stone walls and etc, etc. So we're on a good track. So to make the stones for the bases, I'm taking this craft foam that Cage got forever ago, and a bunch of thrift store paint that ended up being a lot chunkier and older than I expected when I bought it. It ended up being really good for this project. I was looking for ways to use it up, and the grit ends up giving it a bit more of like a cool stone texture, so I'm just kind of using a lot of paint, mixing it with water, and giving these really rough strokes all over. Afterwards, I'm just splatting some regular water all over and letting it run, so it kind of gives this very natural stone texture. You can do the same thing with brown paint and then it looks more like wood. Just kind of let it drip dry and it gives these cool, natural, stone-like striations, sort of. Then to apply it, and I know there's definitely easier ways to do it, but I like this kind of stuff, I'm cutting it all into little squares and then adding little bits of glue and then gluing it all down one by one. I do know that some people will just take the stone and like kind of cut grooves into it with an X-Acto knife, but I really like having the gaps because then you can fill it in later with like a sort of Mod Podgy grit sort of situation, and it gives that way more stone paneling texture situation. I don't know if I'm describing it right, but hopefully it'll come through in the final result. But I think it looks really cool, and it's kind of just like a fun little puzzle attaching everything. I did kind of a silly thing where I originally made all of the bases with the stones, and then afterwards I was like, you know what, I actually think I want some of them with like wallpaper and tiles. So after doing that, I decided to make some tiles instead. So I'm taking all these little wood squares and painting some of them with some white acrylic paint, and then doing the same with some black acrylic paint. Then I go ahead and put a bunch of glue down on the base of this recycled cardboard, and I start in the center and just go ahead and do little tiles all the way out. It was fun doing this in my craft room because I have like kind of a tiled floor in there that I DIY'd also, and it was fun to recreate it in like mini form. I also wanted some wood paneling, so I'm taking some popsicle sticks, and to make sure they don't like float everywhere like the tiles did, I decided to take a little piece of green tape that I was using for something else earlier and use it to hold them all together. This was a way better way to do things, and things weren't floating around while I was trying to paint them, so it was good. I'm going ahead with just some brown paint and using a paintbrush to cover all of it so it's nice and wood looking. I made it kind of watered down paint with some gloss so you could still see the natural grain of like the wood that the popsicles were made of. Then to apply it, I'm just taking some of my favorite tacky glue and sticking it on the ground portion and trimming all the popsicles before I put them down and sort of staggering them so there's like a half popsicle and a full popsicle, so it looks like a organized tile floor was kind of the look I was going for. I also had this wallpaper that I found the PDFs of on Etsy that are based off this like William Morris wallpaper from the 1800s or something, and I messed with some of them a little bit on Canva so the colors are a little bit different and more suited to the rooms I was trying to go for, and I'm really happy with the result. I found that this wasn't actually the best way to do it, so I decided to actually remove the backing so I could more evenly gloss everything, and to make like a nice varnish, I'm just taking some regular gloss and acrylic paint and mixing it together and doing these like really nice thick layers, so it gives, yeah, like just a pretty glossy varnished floor sort of look, the way that a nice fancy old castle would have. I was very much inspired by when Cage and I visited Victoria and all these wonderful, beautiful old sort of castles and Victoriana and this kind of stuff. So I ended up remaking a bunch of my bases and experimenting with some new types of flooring and stuff, and I think it looks really nice. I also downloaded some William Morris wallpaper. It's like super beautiful and 19th century and gorgeous and vintage, and I'm really excited to use it. So though I wasted a bit of time putting together all the like stone rooms to just not use them, I'm quite happy with these so far. In terms of applying the wallpaper, and there's probably better ways to do it, but I just wanted to show you guys my method in case anyone wants to try something similar for themselves. After I painted the back of the recycled cardboard and made sure that it was all like rolled and corrugated evenly, I'm doing a bunch of liquid tacky glue and then putting the wallpaper down and kind of trying to like squish it but roll it so it is like in the position it will be when it dries. And you want to really make sure when you're doing this that it doesn't have gaps. In order to extra make sure of that, I held it in place with some pins while it dried, and then also like glued it to the base so it would be like forced to dry in its exact position, just with some hot glue to hold it for now. So just wanted to give an update. Things are coming along. I still need to grout all of these guys. And then I need to do like some wall trimmings for these guys. But otherwise, like, we're coming together, we're making progress. I feel a little bit of confidence finally. Because I was like, man, this project's taking forever, I'm never gonna get it done, it's never gonna blah blah blah. But like, no, progress. Things are happening. Check it out. Alright. Talk to you guys soon. Okay, so I obviously didn't want the backs looking all bare and cardboardy, so I decided that like kind of a simple way to cover them up but still look somewhat aesthetic was just to use that same sort of acrylic paint and then splat it on in this sort of haphazard way where everything is sort of grainy and gritty, and it gives that bit of texture and stone-like gradient. At least that was kind of what I was going for. And once the backs were all done, it was time to make the grit or grout or whatever we want to call it. So I'm mixing up some Mod Podge, some tacky glue, some black and white paint, you know, just was experimenting with different things and using a little toothpick to get it all mixed up, and then an old sort of loyalty card from some old store to smooth it into its crevices. Or maybe I was using a piece of cardboard. Regardless, it was just kind of like the way that you would grout something, making sure it gets into all the cracks and crevices, and then scraping the excess off the top. And then while the glue was still a little bit wet, I'm sprinkling in a bunch more of that little leftover moss that I had. This just really helps get it into all those cracks and crevices really beautifully. And it's the way that like when you put glitter onto something, it only sticks on the place where the glue is really wet. So it looks like a lot of moss is getting everywhere, but in reality it's only staying in the cracks, and I feel like it helps make it look like it's all ancient and worn in and stuff. So I was really happy with that result. Hey friends, just wanted to do a little check-in. Today's good. I'm doing a lot of progress on my little things. I'm like looking at them right now. Sorry, I like set the camera up in this really stupid way. One sec. Check them out. They're coming along. I have like a couple of last little bits of furniture I need to make, like an extra stool for here and like an extra little table for over there and that kind of thing. But things are going really well, and I feel like the end of this project is finally in sight, so that makes me really, really happy. I really need to get my sleep schedule under control because I keep going to bed at like 4 in the morning and waking up at like 11 or 12, which is like not ideal. And then right now I'm gonna go do a bunch of meal prep because I want to be able to just like power through creative projects when I'm like feeling the energy and not have to be like, oh frick, I have to go like make dinner or whatever. So I'm doing that now. Cage has this really cool art piece that we're gonna drop off at an art show later. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you because I think it's so cool. Look how amazing this thing is. It's like clay cast things that he did himself, and like all the cool goopies, and we've got the taxidermy and the bugs and all the stuff. It's so beautiful and cool. I'll have to see if he has like some really proper pictures of it because I don't think this is doing it justice, but it's really freaking sick. So we're gonna get to drop off this later, but otherwise, yeah, today just kind of taking it semi-easy-ish, working on my projects, working on some meal prep right now. I've been watching loads of thrillers and crime shows and dramas and that kind of thing, or like movies and dramas and that kind of thing. So that's been lots of fun. Yeah, I feel like the extra sunshine has been really helping me feel like more myself, and I got offered another Skillshare sponsorship, so that's super cool. I have to film some videos for that, which, like, yeah, filming is still really anxiety inducing, and I need to like figure out exactly what I'm doing for those, because yeah, I need them to do well and like whatever, and it's all stressful and whatever, but you know, things are doing well. Shop launch is on its way, videos will get made. I'm feeling like myself, so that makes me really happy. Kage and I also went to the thrift store the other day and I got some really nice skirts, especially these ones that I asked if I could get a discount on them because one was missing all of its button and one had a bunch of rips in it. And they ended up giving them to me both for $3 each, which was amazing. So yeah, lots of exciting things in the world. Got lots to do today. I'm still holding this thing, I should put it down. Life's good here. I'm starting to feel more like myself, so that's good. I should probably start getting all this footage together and like editing it and putting it in one thing, so, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Alright, so to try to remedy the fact that I didn't have a lot of making furniture content shown in this video, I wanted to show an example of making some. So, I'm taking a little piece of metal that I found in my dad's workshop forever ago because he's like a woodworker and has like bits of metal and stuff hanging around. I'm using it to make a little seat for a high stool little chair thing. Because I wanted to layer the metal bit with some velvet, I decided to like cut two shapes that were kind of similar sizes so that I would just have to wrap the velvet around one and then be able to kind of put the underside on it like a sticker to cover up all of the seams where you can see where I glued everything together. But yeah, just using a little scrap velvet that used to be kind of an ugly thrifted cape. Attaching all the fabric all around the sort of coin-shaped thing, and once I'm happy with it and making sure that it's secured on all the edges, I can go ahead and start planning out the chair legs. So I'm taking these little toothpicks that I got recently. They have like a little indent on them, which I think looks really nice and kind of furniture-y. So I'm cutting them all to the same size. So I have 4 little toothpick legs, and then I'm adding a little rubber bead thing to kind of just make the top more stable and give it a larger surface area so it has a better stability situation when it's sticking to the base, if that makes sense. So I have these little orange rubber bits that I got forever ago in like a bead kit, and this was a great use for them. Going ahead and gluing them in a uniform pattern all around the base of the chair situation, because just the 4 legs like that aren't secure enough. I wanted to add some extra stability by making like the little footrests that you see on chairs. So I'm just cutting some little slits of this recycled cardstock and bending it so it kind of loosens the fibers a little bit, trimming it so that it will go in a nice circular pattern around the chair legs and kind of hold everything in place and just act as a little extra layer of stability. So I'm doing one kind of at the top and then one kind of at the bottom, so it's like the one that would hold the chair in place and then the one that someone would theoretically rest their little feet on. And I think it looks good, like it's starting to come together. It's all just cardboard and toothpicks and cardstock right now, but give me a minute, we'll get there eventually. Once everything has been glued together and secured and is feeling as stable as it's gonna be for the time being, I'm going ahead with a layer of black acrylic paint and just going messy all over, making sure everything's nice and coated. This kind of acts, both as sort of like a sealing over everything, but also just gives a uniformity and base coat layer. I end up doing, I think, 3 layers of acrylic paint and then 1 layer of just like silver dry brushing over top to give it a little bit of dimension. And then once that's all done, I can glue that little sort of button-shaped velvet top to the top. And there we go. That's an example of how I make cute little furniture, such as that. Then I wanted a bunch of picture frames. So I have a bunch of different design methods that I wanted to use, including this right now. I'm using some old cardstock and gold paint with crackle medium and black paint. Cage had this lying around in a drawer and I just really wanted to experiment with it, and I think it looks so cool. You can see it working in this kind of time lapse, and I scratched a little bit extra off, but as you can see, it gives that super pretty like Victorian cracked furniture sort of look. So I'm using some pieces of lace, some pieces of toothpick and chain, and cut cardstock and all sorts of stuff, and painting them with acrylic paint and then dry brushing and all this sorts of stuff. Like this, for instance, is just some lace with toothpicks and beads and things. But as you can see, I've also taken these little bits of lace that I've cut out the center of like very carefully, and once everything's painted all over, you can see it gives these really pretty like kind of picture frame sort of things. So that's how I make some of those. Then it was time to get started on some windows. I've been experimenting with some different methods for this. So for this, I'm taking some old kind of plasticky sheets or old packaging and then tracing out a window shape that I like, and then kind of giving those stained glass sort of lines by tracing over a pattern that I've printed out. That way it's nice and even and symmetrical, and I'm using a non-smudging marker. And then on the back side of it, I'm going ahead with some Sharpies so that it gives a color, but by doing one side black and then the other side colorful, it makes it so that the lines don't bleed through each other and you can still like see the crisp black lines and they don't get smudged by like the alcohol of the Sharpies, and you can have this nice kind of little stained glass looking little window thing. So I'm making a couple of different ones, usually with like my purples and reds and blues because those are the Sharpie colors that I just happen to have, and I think they look really nice. I also wanted to experiment with this tape thing that my dad gave me. I'm not really sure what it is originally for, but it gives things a very extra shiny and kind of thicker sort of layer, so I was trying it. It does make the light shine through it a little bit differently. We live and learn. I also wanted to make some with a doily for a pattern because I really like the look of using old doilies as bases for stained glass. This was just something that I was trying when I was making my other ones. So I'm taking these old crochet doilies that have been in my family forever and just using them as a sort of little basis to make my little patterns. And I think it's like a really fun way to use different pieces of crafts in new ways, but like kind of honor the past, but like keep the traditions going, but like in a new fun way. I don't know, maybe I'm just being sentimental and weird, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Once the lines are all there and I've decorated the way that I want to, I can go ahead and add in all my extra colors. I really like doing the gradients where it goes kind of like lighter to darker or brighter to more muted or those kind of things, but I know you could definitely also just like color things individually in. That's just not my specific preference. I really like how this looks. And there we go, adding in that kind of shiny layer over top, and it looks really muted on one side, but on the other you can see that it's not completely that way. It just gives it like a bit more of a glassy look. Okay, so now it's time to start planning out where all my picture frames will go, and I definitely made a little bit too many than I intended, but to kind of just plan out where things sort of needed to be, I'm just using a little bit of tape and placing things in an area that I think they would look nice. Then I went online and picked all my favorite pictures and measured out all my picture frames and did all my things. And I'm taking some gloss varnish and just going over everything, doing a couple more layers until we have built up a nice kind of varnishy look. That way it just kind of looks like someone actually sat there and varnished over it and painted it instead of like just looking like it's from a printer. Yeah, it was like a fun little thing to do. Alright, so it took me way longer than expected, but I finally picked out all my gorgeous pictures that will go into each place, and I have my frames already done, so like I know exactly like which piece is going in which frame and all that, and they should have printed to the correct sizes because I like measured all my frames and made this on Canva where you can like tell what the measurements are and stuff. So that's good. Gonna get all these bad boys framed. The varnish I think looks really nice on them because you can see like the brush stroke, so it makes it look extra like a real painting. And I'm just really happy because so many of these are just like so many of my favorite art pieces, and it was so fun to just get to like look through pieces that I've seen and just been like so drawn to over time and be like, you get to live here, you get to live here, you're gonna be in this. Oh, it's just so fantastic. So many wonderful, beautiful, like mythical and historic women represented, because that's one of my favorite subjects in art, is just gorgeous ladies. So yeah, really, really happy. Plus I tried to pick ones that all reminded me a little bit of vampires. Like technically I know they're not all vampires, most of them aren't in fact. Like I know it's like Cleopatra and like Mary Magdalene and stuff, but like just the expressions and like Joan of Arc and whatever. But I tried to pick ones that I was like, I could definitely see you being a vampire. You know what I mean? So, very good stuff. Gonna get these all framed. Today I've gotten groceries done, I've gotten laundry done. Later I'm gonna go to an art show to support Cage, so that's really exciting because he has a piece there. And yeah, things have been going pretty well. I feel like this project is going so much slower than I expected and wanted it to. And I'm just like stalling so much, but you know, things are getting done and every day I'm like a little bit closer to the end, so that's really satisfying. I had one of the most wonderful breakfast dates with my mom ever the other day. She took me out on like Tuesday because she had watched my video on burnout, which was like super embarrassing because I always hate when people in my real life like watch videos that are, it's just, you know, embarrassing when it's like real life people and not just strangers. But anyway, she like got me flowers and took me out to one of my favorite places for vegan breakfast. It was just like, I want to talk to you about this. And it was like really, really wonderful and helpful. And yeah, I'm still having a lot of trouble being gentler with myself and like not feeling like every day is a failure because I didn't like live up to the full potential. But you know, it is what it is. My sleep schedule is still not great, but I woke up at 10 today instead of like 11 or 12, so that's great, but I still went to bed at 4, which we need to figure out how to stop doing that. But yeah, so that's what's new with me. Just working on these little bad boys. Gonna go to the art show later. I have like a really beautiful outfit picked out. It's all like polka dot top and polka dot skirt that I got recently at the thrift store that I was able to only get for $3 because I had all these tears in it. And it was also too big for me, so yesterday I put an elastic in it, so now it fits really nice. So life's good. Things are happening slowly but surely. All is well. So yeah, hope to talk to you guys soon. All right, so once I had plotted out all of the layout, I kind of transferred that to paper so that I could more easily do my whole configuration. Honestly, I think this was a really good way to do it, and I was kind of inspired after having redecorated my own bedroom with a bunch of new pictures and picture frames and all this kind of stuff, so I had an idea of like doing it in a standardized fashion. Just going ahead and like I have my little note of what should be the art piece in that picture, and I'm just going and cutting things so that they fit the frame that they were originally intended for, using a pencil to trace things out. It's super easy peasy, and I really love using Cage's printer. It's just gives like that really nice rich color, and then the extra varnish I feel like helps give it a bit of an extra super like fine art sort of look. So I'm just really, really happy. Yeah, it turned out a lot better than I maybe was originally thinking I gave myself credit for. So I'm really happy looking at these back now and editing them. They're looking cool. Ooh, this one's fun. This one is the trial of beer? I forget. But basically it was this thing that they did in the Middle Ages where like they would test your guilt by if the murderer went by the corpse and the blood ran, then they were guilty. Like, it was like, oh man, I love like weird old facts like that. They're like just super bizarre, superstitious court proceedings. I mean, I get that they're completely inhumane and terrible. I just mean they're fascinating. Humans are bizarre. I'm using a little X-Acto knife to make sure everything is like extra precise, and then to glue everything down, I like to use a bit of liquid glue and a teeny tiny paintbrush just on the frame so that it goes just where it needs to be. You can see Ophelia there. So yeah, that's kind of the process of what my little mini framing process looks like. And I was thinking it might be fun to do some like maybe DIY jewelry with this kind of stuff, like maybe like mini frame earrings or like mini dagger earrings. I don't know, I'll have to see what the feel out is on that. Ooh, this is fun. Now I'm just adding a little bit of like glossy powder that I have for like doll stuff to some of the liquid in my goblets and stuff with some gloss, so it looks extra sparkly and magical. I think it looks so pretty. All right, check it out. I have tentatively placed my picture frames. These are just like kind of taped down very lightly right now. They're not glued down, which I think I will do. Just wanted to like tape it first to confirm that I enjoyed it, but I think it's looking pretty good. So all of the wallpapered rooms are like wall decorated now. For these ones, I might make a couple of pennants, like for this room, maybe for this one. This one, these two I don't know about. The wall decor we'll have to kind of see, but making progress. Things are good. Hello. Okay, so update on everything. The art show yesterday was so cool. Okay, so the whole theme was teeth, so everyone did these like really amazing teeth themed pieces. Lots of weird tooth fairies, lots of skeletons and zombies and vampires. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And since it was like the second day, there weren't that many people. Cage and I got one of my favorite vegan foods beforehand, and it was just great. On the downsides in my life, it snowed a couple days ago, and I'm like, hi, it's like April. Enough. This is too much. Like I cannot handle it anymore. Yeah, it sucks so bad. I really can't handle that stuff. But I have a question for you guys. Okay, look at my face. Yes, please. Okay. I think it looks normal and fine, right? Here's what happened. I broke off the little nose thing. Do you see this? Of my glasses recently, and I tried to super glue it back on twice and it didn't stay either way. And I told Cage, and he like looked at me and like burst out laughing. He's like, oh my god, like it looks so, like it's super obvious, like blah 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 blah. I don't think it's that obvious. Second opinion, I'm gonna get my dad to try to like solder it back on, but if that doesn't work, how dire of a new pair of glasses are we talking? I think it's barely noticeable. I think you can only really tell if I point it out. What do we think? Anyway, so frick, that was really annoying. Broke the thing, but miniatures are on their way. I'm working right now on like a little pennant thing for my little vampire bedroom, but I might also make one for the apothecary and stuff. We'll see. Otherwise, I got some lemons the other day that were very expensive, but I've been craving lemon loaf so much because it always makes me feel like springtime. I make this lavender lemon loaf and it's delicious. So I bought some lemons so I can make that soon. That always makes me happy, like a little bit of baking. So yeah, life is good. I'm also gonna go to a little art demonstration tutorial thing soon with my parents and Cage, which is really fun. Just on Wednesday. It's like this little clay workshop. That's the word I'm looking for. Just a couple hours, do some little clay Easter eggs, learn some new tricks. It's like, you know that clay thing that you do with like polymer or whatever, where you squish a bunch of it together and then cut it and then squish it back together and you get those like really cool mandalas and patterns and that kind of thing. So it's all about that. So hopefully we'll learn some new skills because I know about that, but I've never been very good at it. So always good to learn something new. And yeah, that's me. I need to start editing this footage soon because I haven't been working on like YouTube stuff at all, and I got a sponsorship offer, so I have to like make stuff for April and stuff, and it like makes me so nervous because they were like, your last one didn't do very good. I'm like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what to do. Like sponsorship stuff is so scary. It's just such a mess. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for sticking with me and bearing with everything and all the BS. Talk to you guys soon. Sometimes, but not always, I'll make myself these little rough sketches that Cage always makes fun of me for because they're like the ugliest, weirdest little things, but they help me figure out what I need to do. So like this is like a little pennant design that I was trying to plan. It's got a little dude on a horse, and I know it looks stupid, but the final result, hello, looking nice, using some ribbon, some lace, metallic threads, and this and that. I think it looks pretty. I didn't record a lot of the original process of my pennant making, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the end, perhaps. So I'm taking a red thread and adding like some little glass beads because I thought it'd be so fun to make it look like it's like jewel encrusted or something in the vampire room with like, I don't know, bloodstones or some ancient I know bloodstone is like an actual type of rock, but you know what I mean, like some ancient fascinating vampire relic. And then for the stick at the top, I'm taking an old chopstick and cutting it, sanding it with a nail file on both ends so it's not super jagged, and then just painting it with some brown paint so you get like still the bit of the wood texture poking through. Yeah, it looks nice as the little holder stick. To make the fringe, I take a little piece of cardboard and wrap it in some nonstick parchment paper, and then I'm just taking a little bit of embroidery floss and gently wrapping it all the way around, and then I make a line of hot glue and then stick that embroidery floss line down to it, wait for it to dry, and then I can kind of peel it and remove the nonstick paper from everything, trim off the little excesses of hot glue, and then we have a gorgeous little fringe. So that's how I make those. For the little design on the inside, I'm just taking some iron-on transfer paper and using a design of like a tapestry with a knight on it to make the little thing. To make it less shiny, I'm re-ironing it and unsticking it because I feel like it always looks so shiny. And then I trim the edges. This is the same way that I am going to make all the carpets and stuff, so they look really detailed and beautiful and like tapestry. I'm just trimming first the design the way it needs to look. For instance, this is the green carpet that will go in the library, and then I'm placing it down on a piece of felt. I like the felt because it gives it like a nice thickness, and then adding in the tufts and stuff later helps give it even more dimension and realism. But yeah, I remove the backing paper so you can see that the iron-on is transferred like that. Remove the shine by re-ironing it and re-peeling the parchment paper off, and see, it's like a nice little Persian rug situation. Then I just trim the edges, and as you can see, it has the white on the side, and I don't like that, so I'm using some acrylic paint to cover that up. This also gives the bonus of sort of stiffening the edges, and it makes it look more realistic the way that carpets have that kind of stiff edge. I also add some little gold metallic details on some of them, and here you can see I'm going to go ahead and make some more fringe the same way I did before by wrapping some embroidery floss around the cardstock and using a bit of parchment paper and then like scooting it down and then gluing it and then cutting it and trimming it, and that's how I get my little cute fringy carpets. I feel like they look quite nice. Now I'm making a tiny little dagger because I want to show how I do those. I have a huge jar of vintagey pen nibs that I never really know what to do with, and one of the things I think they're really fun for is like little vintage medievally weaponry DIYs. So I'm taking a little piece of cardstock and using it as the handle by sort of making a angled situation on both sides and gluing it around. I'm also adding a little bit of craft wire to give it some extra texture and dimension. I also like to add little like jump rings or gems or little things like that, especially before I paint it, so that it gives extra detail and sort of looks like things have been carved into it. So I'm adding like little beads and bits and bobs like that to make sure that we've got not just like a flat handle. Similarly, I'm making a kind of sword sort of situation. These are both going to be hanging on the wall, but I'm taking a toothpick, adding some beads to the top, making sure they're secured with hot glue, making a little handle thing with the cardboard, and adding my little details. Now it's time to paint everything. First, just the backing that it will go on, and then I paint the dagger and the sword silver all over. I like to give a couple of base layers, first of the metallic paint, and then a little bit of dry brushing of the metallic paint on the backboard, and then a little bit of dry brushing of black paint over the weapons. This just gives them like a little bit of a weathered look, but you could even add like blood stains or rust or something like that. I also added a bead at the top so it has like a jewel encrusted handle, and then some really, really tiny little glass beads in the center for extra detail, because I think it looks extra, beautiful and jewel encrusted like a fantasy sword. I'm putting them down on their bases and then adding a little cardboard piece that I painted black so that you can like slide the sword or the dagger in and out, but it still like is secure on the wall and like is displayed there, but Hey guys, I have to be honest. Sorry, I thought I was more composed for this. Okay. I'm not doing that good. I got the news yesterday. I mean, I knew it was coming. And I was like expecting it obviously, but it's still really hard. But my childhood cat, Braveheart, I don't want to say it, but he was 19 and he was so special. Anyway, that was yesterday. I wasn't there for it because he lives with my mom. Anyway, sorry, shit, okay. When I got the news yesterday, I hadn't really processed it yet, I guess. Maybe a little bit, like I obviously
felt sad, but I've just been trying to get my stuff together for today and like trying to get my things done and started and like get to filming and get to doing these things, and it's just been really difficult. And I don't know, it's like I didn't want to go down today for the burial because I didn't want to see him like that, but I feel really guilty about it. Anyway, I'm gonna see my mom soon and I'm gonna show her the memorial book I made of him. Last night I stayed up really late making a box for him to put all of his stuff in, so it's this. And yeah, there's catnip in there, and it has some stuff from our time together and stuff that I made for him and whatever. So this was helpful and healing. There's still a couple things I need to finish for it, but it's, yeah, difficult. I don't know, it's just like trying to get back on your life and be like, okay, now time to film, now time to do this, now time to do that, and just spend the time with the ones that I have and the ones that I love is, just feels really hard and intense. And I'm trying to just remember him for like the perfect boy that he was, and all the wonderful memories that we had together, and how much he loved the sunshine and his treats and his naps and how brave he was and how special he was. And his time with Tuna, yes, too. But I'm just struggling, I guess. So I need to film today, and I need to like keep it together. Whatever, I'm doing my like sensory friendly videos and stuff. Hi, Tuna. I made this necklace for him that has a bunch of stuff that was important to him or reminds me of him or whatever. I don't know if I want to like wear it in the video because I feel like editing it will feel really intense. Speaking of, I don't know if I can edit this portion at all. I'll probably like leave it uncut because looking back at this is probably just gonna feel like too much for me. But he was just like such a special boy, and I was so lucky to have him, and I feel really bad that I'm not there for him today. But I'm gonna go on Monday and like pay my respects and stuff and visit my parents and show them the book, and I think it like finally hit me a little bit that like next time I go down there he's not gonna be there, and it just really hurts. And I'm just, I don't know, it like sucks so much how amazing our pets are, and I hate it. Like I love having pets, but this is the worst part. And also like he like lived with us for like a month recently, and I didn't think it would be the last one, but I was like kind of prepared for it to be, but like, oh frig, even as prepared as you are, it still sucks so much when it happens. Anyway, oh boy, fuck, I'm sorry about all this. Okay, I'm gonna try to get my stuff together and just get through it and start filming and do whatever. It sucks, I hate this. Thank you, Tuna, you are like literally being so helpful. That sounded like sarcasm, but like, it's not. This is the most perfect angel in the world, and I'm so lucky that she's in my life. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hug your pets for me and give them kisses and so much love because they deserve it.
Hello. Okay, so it is the evening and I need to go to bed soon, I promise I will, but I want to show you guys kind of the update that's been happening. I did some of these and then took a break from some of these, so 2 of them were just like kind of sitting there not fully done, and it's like, but it's okay. Cage and I went to Edmonton for his work and stuff, so that was cool. But yeah, let me show you guys how things are working. We've got this kind of stuff. It obviously doesn't look ideal the way I'm filming it right now, but I promise it'll look nice, and I have some ideas about how it'll photograph nicely. I'm sorry that things aren't like fully complete. Once they're fully done, I'll have like a proper video showing the results and then showing my original ones that I like am keeping, that like started my whole miniatures journey making and stuff, and I'll talk to you guys more about like specifically what is made of what and try to talk through that a little bit. Okay, I have some outro notes that I figured I'd just like talk through some stuff and thoughts that I had as I was editing this video, because I feel like we kind of ended with a little bit of like a heavy note with everything, and it felt like weird to leave the video there, and then just like watching throughout the video there was like stuff that came up that I was thinking about and wanted to reflect on and talk about, and just like, yeah, so I'll look at what I wrote down and then we'll talk about it. First, I realized that I'm perhaps like a little bit too harsh with myself, and I didn't realize until like watching my content back how deeply I have very much internalized this like very capitalist Protestant work ethic thing, which is super disappointing and annoying. And I'm just like, why do I think this way? Because I don't like, I don't like believe this about other people, so why do I believe it about myself type of thing. But yeah, it's just been very ingrained in me. I was thinking about like my first job in customer service and just like how I have viewed work my whole life and how it's been talked about in like media and like even so like I get there's reasons and stuff, but I figured that like the way that I'm kind of viewing work right now and like being like I gotta get through it regardless, like that kind of stuff is making me miserable, and I don't have to do it that way because I am in this position where I get to do like the stuff that I love, and like I am so lucky for that. So I really need to remember this thing that like happiness doesn't just like fall into your lap. You have to like go out and like actively create it and seek it, and part of doing that is not being super harsh to yourself and these kind of things, because yeah, obviously who is that gonna help? And it's hard because there is very much this idea that I've internalized that like if I am too kind to myself, like if I am too self-compassionate, then I'll either be like lazy because I'll be like so nice to myself that I won't get anything done type of fear, or the fear that like I'll get really arrogant because I'll think so much of myself because I'll be too nice to myself, and that I'll be like mean to other people because I won't be like so aware of like how my actions are affecting everyone else type of situation, and that will like negatively affect people around me. So I have these very much ideas of like I shouldn't work on self-compassion because of like these fears. And I had to like sit with that and realize like in reality self-compassion will make me more calm and more consistent and less stressed and like more patient and these kind of things, as opposed to the opposite. So like, you know, we've tried one way for like 27 years, as much as it feels unnatural and uncomfortable and like it's the wrong thing to do, we have to like actually gotta, I like really need to work on this like less guilt thing, less motivation through like, you suck, you haven't been doing well, this is taking too long, you're working too slow kind of stuff, because it's not helpful. And like for me, I put myself in this position, like I can make it fun, I can make it ideal, like I don't know, I really like turned this like negativity inward thing, and it's capitalism's fault. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I was thinking about that. Sorry if that's like embarrassing to talk about or like frustrating to hear someone else talk about, because yeah, whatever, but I very much need to stop equating my self-worth with my productivity and my income, because it is not really a healthy way to think about myself, and I didn't realize how much deeply ingrained it was and how much it's ruining my self-esteem. So we gotta really work on that. And then this I wrote down, I need to figure out less detail things / stop experimenting / fucking things up so much, which is a really, see, that is an example of not being kind to yourself, dude. Like, stop it. Not stop it. Hey, I see you are being unkind to yourself. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. That is, okay. You have been doing that for a long time. All good. Good for noticing it. Now let's try something else. See, like that kind of it's freaking hard and embarrassing and everything, and probably extra stupid that I'm doing it right now on YouTube where everyone else can see this, but you know, perhaps this will help someone else. Regardless. I was just thinking about this fact that I really love making this highly detailed stuff, but it takes forever, and then I get really stressed out about like how much time I take versus how much I will have to charge for them if I want to like make back my money, and how that feels like so uncomfortable, and like how stressed I am about the fact that it's like technically made of garbage because like I use recycled materials, but like since they're not like expensive material, I'm like, how could I put an expensive price tag on this when it's like made of bottle caps and stuff? But yeah, that is I figured one of the ideas to get around that, to still price things at a way that like are low enough that I feel like they're semi-accessible and I feel comfortable and stuff, is I could maybe take some pictures and like see if people want to buy little prints of them, because then you could like get a print of the room and like that would just be like under $10 or whatever, and then that feels like still like a way to support and like still get like a piece of it, but it's not like the full thing. Like, do you know what I mean? So like that was kind of an idea that I had, and then that way I can like put unlimited amount of prints on my shop so that like I can just print as I need them, you know what I mean? Because I'll just print them with Cage's printer and that's all good. And then I was thinking of also, yeah, making like little jewelry things maybe, or just like little one-off sort of things to see, but I'll need to make sure that things are durable enough if that is an idea I want to go through with. But yeah, I just feel very anxious and embarrassed about the fact that like I have these projects that are at the end of the day like very small and made of trash, but then I'm gonna like put these price tags on them and it just like feels really uncomfortable. It reminds me of, oh god, this is embarrassing to talk about, but it reminds me of this comment that I got recently that was on my handmade bags that I had made forever ago, and posted on my shop. And I think in that video I had talked about being uncomfortable with the price and not knowing what I should price them at and like blah 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 blah, and someone was like, they're very nice, I think you should price them at $40 to $50. And I was like, because that's like barely covers time or material or effort or anything, and it's just like it's really hard when you realize, or like when you look at the marketplace of other things like that are mass produced and just are like, those things are $40 to $50, and I get that people expect to be able to get stuff for that price, and like, yeah, I know people don't want to talk about pricing stuff, but it's just, it feels so uncomfortable sometimes, and and then this is really embarrassing, but I'll just be honest, because whatever, this is like the end of the video, only like 10% of people watch this far, probably even less on like a vlog kind of thing. I was looking at my analytics recently and it was like, ugh. Okay, so whatever, you guys are fine. Okay, so it's like really awkward because with having a partner who is a tattoo artist, like, not to be like, you know, but if you've gotten a tattoo, tattoos are expensive, so like tattoo artists, like, they make like a solid amount of money. And they should, like, they're working with your skin and your body, and like, but sometimes I can't help but compare myself to my partner who I'm like, man, like the amount that you could make in like a week or whatever versus the time it takes me to like make it just, you know, get in this compare and despair thing about like different jobs and like how much time versus like, it's so stupid. I feel really stupid for like comparing, and like I've talked to him about it and it's like, you know, this isn't, you know, productive or anything. So yeah, it sucks, but it's because I should just be happy for him and happy that like things are going well and whatever. But I just get anxious because I'm just like, I am not self-sufficient enough and I can't rely on another person, and like this is too stressful and like whatever. Okay. Silly. I don't know if I'll leave that in. Okay. Oh man, this is another thing. I feel like I go from either like 0 or 100 in terms of like working and stuff, and I need to figure that out because I feel so much guilt when I'm at 0, but lately I just have either been like going super hard working and being like, I need to do things, or just sleeping on the couch in the middle of the day because I'm just like so tired and energy drained, and like obviously I think the sleep schedule of like not getting that much sleep because I go to bed at like 3 or whatever and then don't whatever till later, like that doesn't help. Hold on, the camera's dying, 1 sec. So I really need to figure out how to not just have either my energy be at, you'll have to be working 100%, or just like sleeping, because I was like just thinking like, you cannot be living your life like this if you want to enjoy your life, and you deserve to enjoy your life. Like I have such this weird association with guilt and pleasure. Like anything positive is like immediately indulgent and like guilty and like bad and like selfish and rude. And I need to understand that like, yeah, that like I said, self-love doesn't actually make me meaner or louder or more selfish or more arrogant. It makes me less reactive, more patient, and more consistent. So those are good reasons to do it. Let's see. Oh yeah, sleep schedule. I found this secret, other than maybe not staying up till 2 in the morning. I say as I film this at 2 in the morning, but I have a lot of trouble with the wind down thing, because sometimes I'll watch really like intense and heavy kind of like political or like whatever content before bed, and it makes me like think a lot about stuff or like theory or like whatever, and I then try to go to sleep, and then because I'm like interested in the video or whatever, I'll like sometimes keep it playing, and it's like, dude, how are you gonna fall asleep if you're listening to like, that is not gonna be a good thing. So I'm getting back to like reading before bed and like having that, because honestly, like, that can make me so tired so much more quickly, especially if the, like, lately I've been reading this book about the moon, and the science section is making me like conk out in 2 seconds. I'm just like, I don't even like, anyway, so that's been cool. This wind down thing, instead of lying down and panicking for 2 hours unable to sleep, because that is not sustainable. Let's see, what else have I wrote down? Oh yeah, lots of content lately talking about the reality of making it as a YouTuber and then needing to like compete with the vast amounts of slop content that is out there, and how it feels kind of undoable sometimes lately, and how that feels very relatable and kind of hopeless, but then I feel guilty for like saying that, because like, especially here where people who are here like obviously care and are awesome about this stuff and like want to watch long form content and like whatever, but I really think that I like just need to really focus on my art more, but then I feel guilty for focusing on my art. A bunch of reasons, like, you know, the perfectionism, all the emotional blockages, the like I'm not good enough, the like pricing stuff is scary, the it's been so long since I posted on my website, like that block, like there's just been a lot of stuff there. So, you know, it's been some emotional stuff that I'm like, okay, first step is recognizing it. Because a lot of this stuff I was like not really conscious of, and like filming myself talk about this and then watching it back and edit it, and I'm like, interesting, okay. So that, and then yeah, also just some of the other content that I've been talking about in my channel. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but talked about that kind of thing, the slop and the this and the that and all the reaction content and how it's not for me and all the TikTokification of stuff and whatever. Oh yeah, okay. This interesting thing, interesting for me, with like doing things for content being like kind of a double-edged sword, because I was watching this Kate Cassidy video where she was talking about how like when she was like living for the gram, and like how she would like go out into nature like just to take pictures of like being in nature and stuff, but how that like helped her gain an appreciation for stuff, and how it made me realize that like so often I'll only like allow myself to have these like things that I'm really joyful about and like really love if I can like justify it by like it'll be good for content. Like I'm specifically thinking about how much I love October and Halloween and like all the things that I do then, like the corn mazes and the pumpkin patches and the apple orchards and like the camping with my boyfriend and all these kind of things. And I realized that I only justify it to myself by saying like I can theoretically monetize it, and it's like thinking about it that way instead of like just being like because I know that when I sometimes don't have that, I'm like, oh, like this is potentially a waste of time, or like I could be doing, because I feel like so much of the modern day kind of pressures you to monetize anything that can be monetized, and it's just like really hard to resist that as a content creator, whatever that means. So yeah, that is like a very weird feeling. I hate this. I feel like I'm just whining about stuff. Guys, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, that's funny, because the next session says, been realizing a lot of stuff about myself and people-pleasing tendencies, and why I always feel like a burden, and doing a lot of Googling and introspection, and being like, there's a lot of stuff I gotta work on. And like sometimes Googling is horrible in the sense that it like, you know, when you like have a stomach ache and then you go on WebMD and you're like, I can think of all these horrible things that are gonna happen to me. So it started with me Googling like, why do I feel guilty all the time? And there was these articles that are like, it's because you did something wrong, because like guilt is like a shame response and like whatever. So I was like trying to think of like, what have I done that I like, you know, like I don't understand, because it's just like this constant sense of like, because the reason I'm talking about this is a lot of times when I like go out in public with my boyfriend and stuff, I do this thing that he thinks is like really frustrating, where like I'll like move out of people's way, and I'll like run across the street to like get out of the car's way. Like I'll just like very much shrink myself and make sure that like it happens at concert, it happens in every aspect of my life. And like, he's like, why do you always do that? And I'm like, I don't know, like, I just feel guilty, like, I feel like I just, you know, whatever. And he's always like, you need to get more comfortable with taking up more space and like work on your self-esteem and like all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like, I get it, but like, you know what I mean, this kind of stuff. And I've been thinking about, I've been like introspecting a lot about this, and if you relate, I'll link a podcast below that like clicked so many things in my brain that I like was like, okay, so I'll link it below. This person really understood me and like everything resonated. I was like, yeah, okay, so I'll link it if that helps. But yeah, just realizing like how much my like needing to shrink manifests in like every part of my life in terms of like public spaces, social friendships, division of labor, work ethic, intimacy, sleep schedule, like literally every tiny aspect of my life. I have this idea that like if I am the most efficient, most convenient, least fussy, most agreeable, like bestest person, then everything will be okay and no one will hate me, and and my anxiety will be gone and everything will be fine. And it's like, that's not how life works. So it sucks that that is a realization, and it also sucks realizing this. I feel like so like, I know I'm young and like people will say that and whatever, but it does suck realizing at like 27 that you're like, how much time did I very much spend hating myself and just like trying to like choke myself into being a better person and stuff, because I do have a lot of ideas about like the only reason I'm able to be productive and able to do the stuff that I can do is because I am so mean to myself about stuff. And like that's why sometimes I don't want to fix it, because I'm like, yeah, like it sucks for my emotional health, but like it works, so like trade-off I'm willing to live with. But lately I've been like, you know, maybe that's not a trade-off that I want to live with, because the emotions have been, yeah, I mean, you guys saw like I got burnt out, even like saying like, because I feel like I don't get to claim that, because I'm like, well no, you just got lazy and you're just making up stuff. Yeah, I feel embarrassed talking about this. I remember even someone saying in one of my previous videos, they were like, you know, you're very like honest and vulnerable, and just like be careful because people will want to take advantage of that. And like, I don't know, like I want to just be able to talk about, but then I'm like, is me saying this stuff just like giving people ammunition to be like evil and horrible? And I don't know, I hope not. Like I wasn't one of those people that like grew up like on a lot of like those mean internet forums, so a lot of times when people are really mean to each other, I'm like pearl clutching about it a little bit, and I realize that that's not a lot of people's experiences, just because I don't go on, like I use Tumblr, I use YouTube, not on a lot of other social media, and like sometimes I'll see this stuff on YouTube that I'm just like, oh my god, like people are so mean, and it's, yeah, anyway, so I was trying to not end this on like a sad note, Jesus. Anyway, things are good, things are fine. I'm sorry, I'm worried. That's the other thing, is I'm worried that by saying like things are good, things are fine, that I'm like guilting people into worrying to feel worse for me or like whatever. So like I'm genuinely trying to name that to reduce that, but then part of me is like, if I name it, then that's putting it more in people's heads. You can't win with this stuff. Anxieties, whatever. I think I just should care less what people think, which is hard to do when you're trying to do stuff online. Anyway, these things, they're getting close to being done, and I just need to work on my art more and focus on that. So yeah, this talk ended up waiting way longer than I anticipated, so it's not supposed to be like a 20-minute outro. Sorry. But yeah, and sorry for all the emotionality. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever happens to be for you. Have a good one. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon. And man, if you're like a small business person out there, or just a person in general who relates to this, please, let's be nicer to ourselves. We really deserve it. And yeah. This, just putting my hand on my chest and being like, it's okay. You, you are enough has been a very healing thing for me. So hopefully maybe that's a tip that can work for you too, you are relating to that. Okay. Thanks guys. Bye.